Hello ladies and gentlemen, Spenny here and welcome to Grand Theft Auto 4 Part 8. And I was about to enter a mission with Francis. It's a good thing I called Roman's cab to get there as I'm literally on the other side of the map. But then I got a call from Brucey to hang out, go for a drink. And since we haven't done that with him, in fact we haven't done something like that in ages, and Nico promised to do so in the last episode, why not?
Hey, and B, we need a car, man.
Characters have a certain preference of places to do certain activities. Brucey, for example, prefers the more expensive places because of course he does. That said, I like that activities reflect the character's personality and it carries into the gameplay. They even have some activities omitted. For example, Jacob doesn't go bowling, Packy, who we befriend in the future, doesn't eat out. Only Roman can do every single activity available.
Don't unlock the forces. You can't possibly.
Ooh, that must have hurt.
I'll try not to.
I have to admit, part of me accidentally hit him on purpose because as I've illustrated several times, the ragdoll physics are the best. If I can just pause it, that looks so accurate to New York City, like I'm driving into Manhattan. It's amazing.
Let's put some bitches to the sword in here, baby.
Pretty interesting name for a bar.
A classy place to drink. They deserve my business.
Oop, he's drunk. I really hope I don't have to... Oop. Drunk or not, I'm driving.
Driving in this state? Not a good idea.
I don't mind laying down the readies. I just wish more people saw me, man.
They saw you drinking the champagne.
Yeah, but that don't mean they knew how much it cost. They
Given how often Brucey works out and is all about power, it surprises me that he would drink, let alone enough to get drunk. I hate sharp corners like that. What looks like a wall suddenly puts you to a complete stop. Another reminder of why I had mixed feelings towards Driver 2. They were everywhere in that game. Oh, just leave me alone, cops. It's already hard enough as it is. So I took a pretty drastic shortcut to lose him.
It's gonna blow!
Oh Jesus, he's right actually. Better get out. It's alright, we're near. Oh no! Give me that.
Out of the car.
Oh no, it's on fire. Hang on, let's watch it. This could be a pretty chaotic explosion. Spoiler, it does explode. Ooh, there we go. We'll go to unknown contact, who I already know is Francis McCreary. What else can I say about cabs that hasn't been said? $24 doesn't sound too bad for what is essentially entering another part of the map almost instantly. Now what does he want? First Roman, now Brucey won't stop bothering me. Who's next? Manny?
We raced the other day, want a rematch?
Anyway, the call is to say that if you want to do more of these races from the last episode, which almost ended in disaster, you can give Brucey a call and the closest race is triggered, find a fast car and win, since the cars in those races are slower than the number 1 mission.
Were you followed? Hey, strange seeing you here, Officer McCreary.
I told you to come here, fucking maggot.
You did? Why?
I know you killed Mikhail Faustin. I know a group of Russians want you dead. I know you ain't no saint, boy.
Why do I get the feeling this is Manny's fault for mentioning Nico in the first place?
You look out for me, and I don't look out for you. Know what I mean?
I think so.
So there's a guy trying to blackmail me. He arranged to do the exchange by the Humboldt River off Silicon Street. Said to call him from the viewpoint there.
Okay.
Listen, I did what I did. I made a mistake. That don't make me the devil.
I like that because you have a cop and crook together, Halleck doesn't care what he's saying at all. Like he takes that mercenary, hired gun personality approach to 11 here.
To be honest, I don't really care one way or another.
Well, I'm a good man.
No doubt.
Oh please, you're almost sounding like Dimitri. But that's another trait of Francis. He's a crook too. You learn something new every time you replay this game. Okay, I knew that in advance, but just listening to that dialogue, it seems more crystal clear when doing this gameplay commentary. Thinking more and trying to find all the little details that players can take for granted. Stop! That's the thing, if you get in a cab someone's already using, don't worry, just get in anyway. I call it a GTA without the risk of getting wanted by police.
So, we need to go to Union Drive East.
I know a fun way to...
I also have to be careful because health is low from not regenerating my health before starting this playthrough.
I'm gonna text you his number. You've got to call him and keep a lookout for someone answering a phone. You won't be far.
The position of the target randomizes each playthrough, so I really have to keep my eyes peeled.
Push me, and this shit is all over Weasel News. I got them on speed dial.
Really?
Yeah, and there's a lawyer called Tom Goldberg who's real interested.
I see.
He's hungry for McCreary's blood and shit. Yeah.
Good thing Francis is paying then.
Call me when this exchange is going down. I don't like all the talking.
Oi! Now I know this looks very tedious, but the way I usually lose them is to run along this big footpath since the next marker to go to is close, like a block away. And sometimes you'll find a car parked here, and there's no other shortcut for the police to cut you off. Now this part of the map isn't utilized in this game, but if you play the Ballad of Gay Tony, plays Louise, you have to steal some cars for Brucey and his brother Maury. And in the middle of that mission, you drive along this fixed route while trying to escape the police. It's a fun mission actually. And if you go further, there's a mechanics-like area, which is a shootout literally in the first mission of Lost and Damned. I initially thought it was ridiculous having this part of the map rather detailed but never used, but once I played the expansions it made a lot more sense and increased my respect to the developers who designed the maps for these games. I have to admit, I don't know where I'm going at the moment. I think driving up here wasn't necessary, but I got there eventually.
Great, I can get rid of these now. I feel like a new man.
Your sins are absolved, I guess.
We're close to Dwayne, but we just did a mission with him last, so we'll see Playboy next. I need to be careful. I hate this. I honestly hate this car. Oh, that would have been a little awkward. What I really need to... What I really, okay, definitely right now need to do is get some health. Give me a second.
I need your car, man.
Now that's a huge weight off my shoulder. As I've illustrated before, you can also replenish health at food vendors, diners, and fast food places for the low price of $1, but this first aid kit was closer.
Yeah, Dwayne's been getting on my nerves. Pushing me, man.
Well, he gave you the reins of everything he's done and you're not giving it back to him. What do you expect?
You'll need this guy silenced?
Yeah, he hangs out with his team near the courts on Exeter between X and W.
Okay.
Here, take this, head down there, take a photo, send it to me, and I'll point out which one of them motherfuckers it is.
Fine.
And that's a little gift for you.
That is a handy gift actually, a phone upgrade. Roman said it best, maybe you will get a premium quality like mine, then you have really made it.
I can only wish.
Playboy's car, might take it again. I mean, they don't call it Grand Theft Auto for nothing. I mean, is this some kind of sport for Nico? GTA every car owned by a person he's associated with? Speaking of phones, what I should be doing is answering as many calls and messages so I can open up the missions, because even if you do the side ones, the phones remain silent. I've been completing these missions at a fast rate because I want to see how quickly I can get through this game. The camera is another feature that you have to use more than once in this game. You can also change the theme and you get additional higher quality ringtones, and you can visit the internet cafe to change them, which I might do the next time I go there.
Marlon's the one dressed like a damn canary, wearing that yellow jacket and shit. Get rid of him.
I'll do it.
You have to be careful here because if you walk onto the court with guns, they'll suspect you instantly. At the time of recording this, I'm up to part 10, and I promise at that point, I'll turn off the auto aim because of continued requests. I even completed the big bank job mission that way, coping very well.
Marlon is dead.
You the man, son. You money. You my ice-cold Slavic killer.
Good thing about Dwayne is that he's right across the street. Now this is another cutscene where a song is playing in the background despite having the music turned all the way down. So to reduce the risk of a copyright claim, I'll talk pretty much the whole cutscene and take this chance to admit, I didn't say enough about Dwayne in the last episode. Now his side of the story reminds me a little bit of The Shawshank Redemption, where a person has been in prison for so long, he doesn't have as much power anymore, the world has changed without him, and it can drive a person onto the edge. Not like Tommy Facchetti, who was in prison for longer and was like, okay, back to business. But this isn't Vice City. As I mentioned before, the writers were going for a more serious tone because of what they can accomplish with the console's hardware. With Dwayne, he has a very honest personality compared to Playboy, and I think this is actually what Ballad Alec meant when he said in the last mission, "You remind me of me." He and Nico have plenty in common, and the clues were there before I even did that first mission with him. That phone call when Playboy is asking you to help out Dwayne in the last part, old friends aren't paying him no mind. And like I said about Francis not that long ago, you just need to pay attention, which you might need to replay more than once, but it's worth it. It's really a question of how many B-side stories can you fit into this game, because there are so many developed enough for their own game crammed into one. I mean, that ends up being the case thanks to the expansions, but you need to maintain a certain pace in the story, or the game would take nearly twice as long to beat. Then again, who wouldn't want that?
I'll clean out the squatters for you. No problem.
Anyway, we need to take out the owners of the gentleman's club that Dwayne used to own. With a couple of these missions, you're basically helping him rebuild his life, take back the things he previously had control over. This car might as well be called the Tonka, because that's what it is. The way it looks, the bouncy suspension, it's one of those toy Tonka trucks that you can drive on the road. Again, Brucey? What are you— Actually, I knew he'd call in advance.
Sorry, Brucey, man. I'm about to go see some naked women, but this time it's business, not pleasure. We have to hang out another time.
Very good use of words. Business, not pleasure. But yeah, it's another one of those scripted calls specific to this mission. And it isn't just Roman who does it. Weapons aren't welcome.
Come on, then.
And yet, I've got all the weapons in my pocket and he just lets me in without any issues. The ATM, I don't get why they're there if how much you have is on the top right. However, Cubed is an arcade game that you can play when not in a mission, and you have to beat the highest score as part of completing 100% of this game. Well, there you go. Turns out there is at least one mini game. I'm surprised it isn't at the arcade from the last part.
Where's Jose, man?
He's in the back, but he don't want to be troubled. You know how he needs to concentrate when he's counting up that money.
Anyway, I'm just walking around overhearing conversations, because that's how you figure out who the owners are.
If you're looking to get some wood, you're gonna have to wait.
And after you find everyone, action. Yeah, if you're not taking cover, you've had it. And another thing annoying is that if you get wasted, you lose like 25% of your money. And if you disagree with the latter, then again, why would you if there's nothing to buy in this game? You have to go from the safe house, then the mission marker, all the way to the destination again. Thank you taxis for making it less time consuming than it could have been. It took just 3 minutes to get back to this point after all that. Imagine if this was a 3D Universe era title. And the second attempt was probably just as bad. I didn't get killed, but one escaped the building. It took an eternity just to get in the car. Wow, that was frustrating. And I ended up losing them. I have definitely been underestimating this mission. The third attempt, I just went for it again with a little extra caution, making sure the back door wasn't an escape option. It's missions like these that make me not want to use the auto aim, although as I said before I will in part 10. Point is, this mission can almost qualify for a finale in another open world game. Yeah, 3 attempts and finally I did it.
Nobody's going to be partying up in your club anymore.
Playboy ain't gonna be happy.
What do you mean?
He still did business with the gangsters that took over.
What is annoying is if you're in the middle of a phone call, you can't do anything. You can't run nor enter vehicles, and there'll be another mission later on where it becomes a serious issue. Anyway, yeah, it turns out Playboy had a small part of it. So it slowly becomes a tug of war over who gets the business, and later on you basically get to choose who gets it. I'll explain further the next time I meet up with Playboy. For now, we'll do one more then stop there. The video length might not imply it, but this playthrough is a little bit longer than usual because of the repeated attempts of the last mission. What is interesting is that Liz was angry at Jacob on the phone, threatening to start shooting if he didn't arrive, even though in actuality you can take as long as you want without consequences. So have these two seriously been arguing the whole time since? Hey, don't push Jacob, Liz. Though I hate to think what you would think of Batman. I mean, Jacob did say in a phone call that even Batman is scared of Elizabeta.
You better hope Nico can make this right for you then.
Oh, what?
Oh, we got a big fucking problem, Rasta. Nico, Go do this first job for him.
Yeah, I got it.
Watch me now.
See you later.
You think Jacob would join you? Maybe Liz isn't trusting enough to let that happen. Anyway, we'll drive there as an opportunity to be in the wheel of a fast car, but first let's regenerate my health. And I proceed to smash the front 10 seconds later.
Polvo puro. The best, man. You're in America now. The best everything gets made here.
Yeah, those bikers are supposed to be the rivals to the Lost, the Angels of Death, who play a more prominent role in The Lost and Damned, obviously. That is a handy feature to have actually, being able to shoot from cover. Not as accurate, but just accurate enough. What is annoying though is that you can't switch between sides, like Nico is on the left side of the screen at the moment, and you can't swap it to the other side like a lot of third-person shooter games. Just fire everything you've got. Just give them hell. I might leave that first aid kit for the second part of the shootout, which is a little bit harder. See what I mean? This would be an instance where I would change shoulders to get a better view of the surroundings. I'm only depending on my memory of the game because I played it so much. I don't think I beat this mission the first attempt.
I've got this stuff. You know where the heat is coming from?
I think I'm getting closer now. But there's one more cat me have to speak to.
Yeah, I do remember struggling with this part in particular because unlike most enemies who stand and take cover, the SWAT team moves straight at you, take twice as much damage, you have to lose the heat after that, and it's very easy to accidentally increase it to 4 stars. But at least I currently have full armor and another first aid kit awaiting if I need it. Yeah, that sort of made me jump scare at that moment. Like I said, they move straight at you. I have to say, there's a lot of police activity for a 2-star wanted level. Uh-oh, no, that's bad, that's bad, that's bad, that's bad, that's bad. I tried to climb over the window. I thought Bellic would just jump over it. Instead he climbed, which takes 5 seconds longer, and I was a sitting duck at that time. Like I could have been killed instantly like the last mission. Just go, 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 go. Oh no, one of them's got a shotgun as well! Now this part is scripted so that one way, this part of the map, 5 police cars drive through there, so if you're lucky you can drive to the end of the other side, hopefully no one sees you do it, and you can lose them almost immediately. And it worked. It worked!
I lost the heat. Where are you?
Cheers, fine. I'm with some buckets and why. Get here now, Nico. This is some strange shit.
Oh, and there's a police officer right there.
Wow, what a mess.
The second I see a taxi, I'm hopping in. The marker is on the other side of the map, up north.
Hey, cab! Out of the car!
No, sorry. Sorry. No, the game is called Grand Theft Auto, so deep down, Nico is enjoying this. But in all seriousness, I didn't mean to do that.
Jacob, what are you talking about? You know, I think you're smoking too much.
Yo, me think me know the eater come from in a king.
Hey, Nico. Hey, Jacob.
What are you doing here? This is no place for you, Michelle.
As it happens, it is. You see, Nico, I have been working for the government. I'm afraid it's my job to watch you.
Yeah, I don't have much of a reaction to this since I've played this game so many times, but the first attempt, yeah, I was caught off guard. But as the comments section pointed out on part 1, when you play it a second time, you do notice a lot of the clues. I could have easily mentioned them throughout the game, like the new furniture, how she keeps asking questions about Nico, like life before moving to America and his criminal work, and him pointing out that Michelle asks so many questions. It all eventually adds up, and is yet another reason to love the storytelling in this game. Shocking, but it makes sense. And it's also the main reason I never saw her after the first date. I knew in advance that she was undercover, so thanks, Mallory.
Sister, there was always something funky about her. I'm real sorry.
That's the thing, you can't break up with her unlike other girlfriends in this game, but then again, you're not supposed to know that twist the first time. And far later down the line, Nico does eventually benefit from all this. The same can't be said for Elisabetta, however.
Here we are.
Thank you.
Nope, don't have the time for you on this playthrough.
Man, this is getting out of control. The police are all over me. I can feel them.
So?
So?
For some reason I find it funny that he doesn't care, though I don't get why he's going back to her place if he didn't get the product back.
Open up, man.
Who is it?
It's the streets, man.
Now, word up, bitch. You better stop slinging that shit on my streets, yo. We don't want it anymore. Now leave my people alone. Yo, Nico, what are you doing here?
Again, I knew that would happen, but that said, this is a game that loves to throw a massive curveball at you.
I am not in the mood for this right now.
Well, he said he was going to bust a dealer.
To be honest, what were the chances of Manny surviving through this story? Now this is a very quick mission, and that's why I wanted this to be the last one in this part specifically. All you gotta do is drive along this bridge from Bohan to Dukes. However, the catch is that if you make any form of contact, the boot lid opens like something out of a dark comedy movie, and you get a 2-star wanted level just like that. It took me a long time to realize that because all my first few playthroughs I passed through without interference. So in this instance, fine, I'll pay the toll.
Thanks.
Another thing too is if you lose the heat, drive past the police with the boot lid still open, which can't be shut by the way, you're gonna lose the 2-star heat all over again. Basically the mission is hard as you choose it to be. Fortunately, I won't have to do that.
You're gonna help a lot of folks.
He'd been trying to help the streets his whole life.
Maybe he'll actually be doing it now.
Very poetic and ironic.
The doctor has that stuff.
Good. One less thing to bother me. The heat is closing in, Nico. This particular party is ending.
That's spot on, she does eventually get caught, and is all over the news, even on music stations, which I have turned off for this playthrough. Also, if you try to call her, she'll be like, nah, I can't answer at the moment, call back in like 200 years or something. Anyway, we'll stop it there. Now, I have to admit, I'm not happy with the last episode because looking back, there are at least half a dozen moments in that part where I had other little facts to point out that I missed. I guess 7 wasn't a lucky number in this case. I recently completed a Q&A video which took longer to make than I thought, so I had less time to catch up with the GTA 4 gameplay series, so I rushed it a little bit, and also why it took longer to release my next review and this very video. My priorities were all over the place, therefore things have been a little hectic. As I said in part 6, every single video is self-produced, so it's a lot of work. So thank you all for continuing to stay tuned. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, Patreon, Twitter, Facebook. Hang on a minute. Before I end it, okay. Speak to you soon.